I watched Steven Universe the movie on October, but it was different. Spinell was more darker. She killed everyone, but just wanted a friend, and she jumped and died. And I was like, "Oh my god." I turned on my TV, and then I had nightmares about it. The end. And that, my little pretties, was Steven Universe, the movie creepypasta, written by Erik Movie Buff. I want to thank you so much, Erik Movie Buff, for the story. Now, this person wants me to be honest with the review, so I'm going to be doing such. Now, number one, I did not like it. The reason why I said for that, Erik Movie Buff, is because there are a lot of things I do have to say. I'm really glad that someone made a Steven Universe story, which I could definitely say that's one positive. But since this review is not going to be as positive as I expected it, but I'm going to be honest. For one, there is literally run-on sentences in the story. Like, okay, let's just say right here is, the one. I watched Steven Universe movie on October, but it was different and Spinell was more darker. You see, that's just literally a giant run on sentences. And then it starts with she just wanted to kill everyone, but she just wanted a friend and jumped off and died. And I was like, oh my god. You see, you see what the problem is right here, Erik Movie Buff? Now, I'm just going to be honest. I'm not ranting. I'm just going to give you, some pointers of what you could have done. Now, basically, what I could say is that there are run on sentences. And, that is not a good thing. If you just have, some run on sentences within your story, it makes it difficult for people to read. That's kind of why I stuttered a little bit of the story. And the next thing I could definitely say is that it's just too short. Like, I'm being honest, that it is just too short. Like, I'm just gonna be pretty much honest, but I can definitely say, is this. Now, I understand, it could have been, somewhat good, but with all due sincerity, it's just very weird. And, I'm gonna be completely honest, I could barely read this story, as this one was actually was difficult for me to read. And, what could have been done to make it better is just maybe if the story was, a little better per se. Like, maybe if the story was, properly, played out, and then that way it would have been a lot easier and understandable for people to hear. But here's something I could definitely say is that the movie itself is just it's just really messed up when you come to think of it. Because here's the thing. I don't mind, if you make a short story, but the thing about it is that it is just too short. You know, just ended like that. That's the one thing I could definitely say that, could have been better. No, I'm not trying to sound rude. I'm just going to be honest that, if you wanted to make this fan fiction, or story, better, what I should just suggest that you could have done is take this and put it through Google Docs. I understand that's what you did, but here's the thing. You always have to have commas to separate the sentence when it comes to doing this. Because one thing is for sure is that if you just sat there and, just do that, but like if you just sat there and, just put, run on sentences, just put periods for space, for periods after, a long sentence like that, it's it's harder for people to sit there and read. And I could definitely give you an excuse that it is your first story, but take into consideration to me and take the story as a consideration of what you could do for the future. For the future, what I highly recommend is, try not to make stories that are this short. Like, do not make any stories that short because, this took me at least 20 seconds to read. But, here's the thing. I don't mind a story being, at least 2 or 3 minutes, even if it's a short one. But the problem about it is that it's too short. And, I don't mind short stories, but it does get a pain in the butt all the time. In certain times, it does get the pain. I'm not trying to sit here and sound rude or harsh, but what I could suggest is maybe, take a look at it. You said you watched the Steven Universe movie, but it was different. Okay. How is it different with Spinell becoming more darker? Like, if you can explain, have a better explanation on why, the movie was different. Like maybe say certain parts of the movie were not in it, or kind of explain like the whole movie. Take a look at my Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost creepypasta. Take a look at my Tarzan creepypasta, and even take a look at my Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island creepypasta. Take a look at those, for examples of, how can a movie be different? Like it could be maybe a different title, or it could be a little different. Anything like that, that will at least give it like a little bit of an explanation to why it was different. Like, was it more dark than the original movie? Or was there messed up content in it? Or maybe this was how they were originally going to release it. Like, anything in particular. Now, here's something I could definitely say is that here's the thing. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not trying to sound rude, but it's honestly the truth, and I'm going to be honest. Is that Spinella kills everyone at the end. Okay. There's a little problem with that when it comes to doing that. Like, why would she kill everyone like that? That is obviously something I don't understand. It's like, why do almost all creepypastas have to sit there and, end it with everyone dying? Like, I do that occasionally with my stories. Unless there's a good reason for everyone dying. But in this case, there's, like, no reason how Spinell killed everyone. Like, maybe if there was a backstory or something, then that way it'd be a much better situation to do that than to sit there and, throw in certain things. Like, if you just sat there and throw in, certain parts of the story, it's just not going to make it work. And, explain why, Spinell killed everyone. Because then that way, we would have a bit of an explanation on why that's the case. Just to kind of, give you, like, a little bit of motivation. Now, note that I'm not trying to sound rude or anything like that, but what I could suggest for you to do is to try to do better if you're going to write another story to me. If you're going to write another story to me, please try to make something a little bit original. And don't sit there and, throw in things that don't matter. You always have to check your work, especially if you're writing the creepypasta, Sometimes I've made my mistakes in my stories in the past, too. And even now I still do. But, I'm trying to, remove everything that happened and try just to go from there. Now, I'm not trying to sound rude. I can give you, like, a plus that you did try to come up with something a bit different, which I can definitely say that. But however, though, this is the thing. If you just sit there and, throw certain things and you look at it, you're going to realize that it's not looking really good. With this pasta, on the other hand, it's just messed up, I can definitely say. Like, I do understand that you were trying to come up with something a little bit different, but to me, it's just the same. I just feel like that, at least to me that is. But, the story could have been, somewhat, good. Like, I understand you did try to come up with something a bit different, but for me, it just sounded the same. And I can definitely say right now that I understand you did try to come up with something new, but, I could definitely understand that you were trying to come up, try to write a story, which I can definitely say that, you did try, and that's something I can definitely say. But what I suggest is to maybe read some of my stories, take a look at Shadow Reader's stories when you listen to them, read maybe some of Matthew Bumford's stories or Schizma's stories. At least in that way you get like a little better explanation on, why, what you should avoid. Now, I'm not trying to sound rude. I'm going to be completely honest. But I could say now that this story was actually completely least the same. Now, I could definitely say that the story was a little hard to read, per se. But what I can suggest to you to do is, if you're going to write a story like this, you need to make it to something that is completely original. Now, and here's one thing I could definitely say is that if you just end it as the end, like, the ending was just not very that satisfying. I'm going to be completely honest. Now, don't add, a cheap ending, kind of like that, just for the sake of throwing it in there. Because mainly what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't work that way. And, and it's never worked that way. Even though I have my fair share of doing stuff like this, but I'm going to be completely honest. So I think I'm just gonna say right now that if you take this review as a consideration of trying to improve better in your stories and at least push yourself to it. I push myself every day to make better stories, and I still do every now and then. Even though I make bad stories sometimes, it's still something I do. Now, I'm not trying to sound rude when I say it, but it's the honest truth. Like, if you're going to sit there and, make run on sentences, it's going to be difficult for people to read. And one thing is for sure, and I'm going to definitely say right now, is learn proper sentence structuring. And that's something I could definitely say. Now, learn where your punctuations need to go to. Now, I'm going to be completely honest, is that there is no excuse for anybody to sit there and, not put any punctuations. You always have to put proper punctuations when it comes to writing your story. I even learned how to do that. Even though I make a mistake in the past or something, the story itself was a little kind of hard to read, certain speak. But, I'm going to be honest that, I understand, you tried to do something a bit different. But why would Spindell sit there and, be dark and kill everyone? Like, that just doesn't make any sense. And that's very confusing, too. Now, I'm not trying to sound rude about it, but, what you could suggest to do is, this story is actually something. This story is kind of like a good example on how to not write a creepypasta. I'm not trying to sound rude. I actually understand that you did try to come up with something. But this is actually something I could definitely say that what you could do to make it better. Now, what I'm going to suggest to do is to take into consideration and take your time while you're writing the story. Because if you just sit there and say, oh my god, and you turn off the TV and you had nightmares about it. Okay, why did you have nightmares about it is just the thing. If you had nightmares about it, then you could have, just sat there and, explained, why you had nightmares about it or something. Kind of like a better explanation. But here's the thing. I would suggest make a longer story and not sit there and, remake a story that takes like 30 seconds for somebody to read, I don't mind a short story being like 2 or 3 minutes, 3 minutes long, like 2 to 3 minutes. Oh, sorry about that. I just got the hiccups. Instead of sitting here and making like a 2 to 3 minute, 20 to 30 second minute story, if you're going to make a short story, at least have it like 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 4 even. Then that way it wouldn't be as much as a pain for me to sit there and, narrate it. It'd be a lot more easier. I'm just trying to, be honest with it when it comes to that. But however, though, I just think all this stuff is just there for the sake of throwing it in there. Now, I am trying to be honest, Erik Movie Buff. I know you did your best, so I can condole you for that. Now, I think I kind of explained enough, and this review is long enough as it is. Okay. Now, like I'm going to say right now, and like I will always continue to say, this is simply my own personal opinion, and if you disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of the story, I'm going to give this a 1 out of 10. I'm only giving it a 1 out of 10 because Erik Movie Buff did try to come up with something new, but with all due sincerity, it's just not good. I can definitely say that. I understand it's his first story, so I'm giving it a 1 and letting that slide. But here's the thing, Erik Movie Buff. If you're going to make another story, please take the review, what I said, into consideration into making your story better. Or at least make another one that is better than this one. I know you can do better. And that's something I can definitely say right now. I'm only saying that because I want to help you get better with writing. Now, I'm going to be honest. I know you did try, so I can definitely condole you for trying. And that is definitely a positive that I can definitely say. Is that I know you did try to come up with something new. And that's definitely something I can definitely say. But other than that, the story was just not good. And I'm going to be completely honest. Okay, I better wrap up this review because, I'm getting, too, up ahead with stuff. But I am going to be honest. You did try, which I can definitely say, but I wish that you do a lot better with your stories. I'm being completely honest here, Erik Movie Buff. I'm not trying to insult you, but take this review as a consideration. Anyways, What did you all think about this creepypasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you're brand new here to this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload. And like always, please roll the outro because I am out of here. And I want to thank you so much for, for those who are new to my channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget that I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload. So I will be seeing you all in the next video. Peace out, and please roll the outro because I'm out of here, and I'll see you all next time.